The Movie Bar Podcast.
Now it's time for the feature presentation. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to the feature presentation podcast presented by the Movie Bar, the movie podcast exploring timeless classics that have stood the test of time and those that haven't. Let's start the show. I am your host, John, and I am joined by my best friend.
I'm Justine. This week, we will discuss comedy classic Police Academy, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year.
Yes.
Woo!
How you doing this week?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we had fun celebrating Mongo's birthday. It was exciting. So we are 2 episodes away from 100. This is our 97th episode.
Woo!
We may, depending on certain people, we may be recording a special 100th episode and then covering the movie. I don't know if we'll do it together or separately, but I'm working on it.
It's news to me, so
I know, but
way to drop that on me while we're recording. Woo!
I forgot to tell you. But big news stories. First, Kenneth Mitchell, known for his roles in Captain Marvel, Star Trek, and more, has sadly passed away at the age of 49. A lot of these dying young.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
You know.
For instance, we also had Freddy vs. Jason actor Chris Gauthier, who passed away at age 48. He was in a couple other things that I recognized, but I couldn't for the life of me tell you what they were right now.
If only there was a website that you could go to.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but
IMDb.com. But
I am.
I just happened to be scrolling Facebook, and Voodoo had posted it on their Facebook page. And
Well, that's what I mean. I saw like a picture of the actor in a specific role, and I was like, oh, okay, I know who that was. And then I don't remember what it was. I know it wasn't Freddy versus Jason, though.
Yeah, but condolences to their
Yes.
family, friends, and fans. Dying young, and the old timers are still kicking. So,
Well,
but we got 2 new exciting trailers to discuss. Start us off.
boy, howdy. Man, this one looks absolutely top notch. We've got Boy Kills World. Sam Raimi bringing out the big guns on this one. You get Bill Skarsgård. I mean, this looks tremendous. It looks to have some amazing action sequences. You get Famke Janssen in there playing a big bad this bitch boss. Should be pretty good.
I was trying to think of a movie that it kind of like reminded me of, and for some reason, Running Man is like sticking in my head, like the game show aspect.
It kind of has that, yeah, because it's got the game show piece to it. But yeah, there's that. It kind of has that fun shootout movie type feel to it, like Lucky Number 11 or those kind of Hotel Artemis and stuff like that. So, but it looks like it's got a pretty cool cinematographer there because the fight scenes from the trailer looked really good. And then you got I don't know if you really caught it, but the guy from Bob's Burgers was the narrator.
Oh, really? That's what that was?
Yeah, I guess that was like a last minute. Either that was a last minute switch, or they like kind of duped everybody into thinking that it was going to be Skarsgård doing the narration, and they had him do it. So that does look really good. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked good. The action sequences. I love how he's trying to be killed by serial mascots. Obviously, no Lucky the Leprechaun or Tony the Tiger, but you know. So the second one was the Borderlands from Eli Roth. Kind of reminded me of Uncharted's trailer. I don't know if that's because it's a video game movie, but
I mean, I think I played Borderlands maybe once or twice.
I might have played the first one.
Probably at Billy's house. But I mean, I don't know a lot about it. I know a lot of people played it a lot. It was a very popular video game. I mean, Kevin Hart, Jack Black,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
It looks. It could be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, it be interesting to see how that plays out. So, yeah, that's it for trailers. What you watched this week, buddy?
Well, this morning I get sucked in. They had RoboCop 2, and RoboCop 3 on back to back on HBO 2.
Ooh.
So I watched that. And then I watched Police Academy. And then because I watched Police Academy, I watched Police Academy 2. But I stopped, mostly because I ran out of time.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I think I watched all of them a few months ago. So
yeah, I know last year I did all 7.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I did all of them. I don't think I watched Mission to Moscow, but that was probably only because I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So I watched Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. I wanted a comedy, but then immediately went back to horror and watched Terrifier right afterwards. So I had an off weekend, so I watched Police Academy 2, Police Academy 3, Police Academy 4, Police Academy 5, Police Academy 6, and then this morning I finished Police Academy 7. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. John's going to get so confused.
Remember the time they went to Russia? No, that wasn't the first one. Oh, shit.
He's going to start throwing Bobcat Goldthwait around. And he'd be like, no, you got the wrong one there, guy.
It's funny, like, when you think back and you think of the core cast, like, and then you realize they weren't even in that. Well,
most of them were. It was just really Zed and Sweet Chuck and
yeah, like you got the original
Proctor
group
that you didn't get.
See, now I'm fucked up because I can't remember if is the Crime Wave. That was the second.
Well, let's start with now it being time for.
All right, so we're back. We forgot to put it in the show, but last week's trivia question was
what was what movie ended phase 1 of the Marvel MCU?
Yeah, and it was Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah. Just gone with my gut.
True or false? Mel Gibson only had 16 lines in the movie Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior.
Could be a trick question. It could be less.
What is your final answer?
I'll go with true.
Okay, so check in next week to find out if Justin was correct. And now back to regularly scheduled programming.
Our feature presentation.
Okay. So
before we start discussing too much of the movie,
yeah.
let's actually introduce said movie.
Well, it is time for our feature presentation.
Crime. The city was full of it.
Hey! Free TV!
Desperate measures were needed.
Want you to go to the police academy.
The police academy is such a dangerous place.
Honey, don't worry.
Desperate measures were taken.
I'm joining the police force! Ah!
The mayor says we have to take this riffraff.
I'm trapped here?
Well, yes, we all are.
What about guns? When do we get guns?
You will be schooled in firearms, police procedures, local laws, and many, many other things. High-speed driving. And self-defense.
I need a volunteer.
That's me!
I'd love it. I'd love to go.
Police Academy.
Where did you get this gun?
Mom gave it to me.
Mister, I am warning you, half hour!
They're lean,
20, Roger.
mean,
Does the radio bother you? 5. I can turn it down.
obscene. Each and every one of them striving to defend
You make me sick.
Thank you, sir. I make everybody sick.
See the thighs.
or offend.
Come on, I haven't got all day. The thighs.
And now that they're ready for the real world,
Give me the thing!
crime is no longer the #1 problem. They are.
Can you get my kitty cat out of the tree?
No problem, ma'am.
Police Academy.
This week we are covering Police Academy, if you haven't told, which was released on March 23rd, 1984, directed by Hugh Wilson, had a box office of $149.8 million, distributed by Warner Brothers, edited by Robert Brown and Zack Steinberg, and music by Robert Folk. It is rated R, which surprised me, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. It is not streaming, but is available for purchase on all streaming sites.
Did it really surprise you? I mean, you remember that he's standing outside the shower.
But this was the 80s, like.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was PG too. I was gonna be like, this is
Yeah.
extreme. I was like, oh no, this has to be R.
Yeah. But it's not streaming anywhere, but it is available for purchase on all streaming sites. And
Okay,
actually, they just announced the Blu-ray release of all the movies.
that's good.
I have the Canadian version, but
Well, and I guess I couldn't say this more aptly for any other movie, but our cast of characters, we have Steve Gutenberg as Cadet Carrie Mahoney, Kim Cattrall as Cadet Karen Thompson, Bubba Smith as Cadet Moses Hightower, Donovan Scott as Leslie Barbara, Michael Winslow as Larvell Jones, Andrew Rubin as George Martin, David Graff as Eugene Tackleberry, Bruce Mahler as Douglas Fackler, Marion Ramsey as Laverne Hooks, Brent Von Hoffman as Kyle Blanks, Scott Thompson as Chad Copeland, G.W. Bailey as Lieutenant Thaddeus Harris, George Gaines as the ever-lovable Commandant Eric Lassard, Leslie Easterbrook as Sergeant Debbie Callahan, George R. Robinson as Chief Henry J. Hurst, Deborah Lee Scott as Violet Fackler, Ted Ross as Captain Reed, Doug Lennox as main bad guy, Georgina Spelvin as Hooker, Don Lake as Mr. Wig, Michael J. Reynolds as office executive, Gary Farmer as sidewalk store owner, John Hawkes as Teskey truck driver, Kay Hawtrey as surprise party lady, TJ Scott as tough, Dara Robinson as plaid thug, and Hugh Wilson as the angry driver. Yeah, more detail, but I had to go through the hooker, so I figured I'd say the rest of them.
Yeah. Well, Hugh Wilson is the director.
Yeah.
Because they found the guy that was supposed to be the driver passed out in his trailer. So he said, fuck it, I'll do it.
Mm.
But, all right. So let's start off. We're getting backstories on our characters here. First, we have Tackleberry, who's a security guard at, I don't know, an office building of some sorts.
Yeah, office building.
And
possibly a bank.
So he hears noises in this room. He goes in, just fires instantly.
Just unload, baby.
And it's a fucking surprise going away party for him.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
That's the 80s.
So that sets Tackleberry's story, which is him to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Mahoney, he's a parking attendant. Gets told to park a car when the lot's full, and he proceeds to drive the car in between two cars, which actually happened at a shopping center in Wellesley, Mass. last week. We don't know how the fuck it happened, but literally this car was. It looks like it drove up on one of the cars, maybe, but it was like.
May hit occur. You know, these things happen. I mean, there's videos of people in the Middle East doing it on purpose all the time.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's crazy. Leslie, he is a photo hut clerk who gets
thrown in the river,
gets bullied and thrown into the river in his big giant camera.
Hey, that's a classic movie trope. I think you can't have it anymore because they don't really exist anymore. But it happened a lot back in the 80s, in the 70s, and early 90s.
I don't know if I've ever seen one in real life.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
Probably not shaped like a camera and all that, but I'm sure.
I mean,
we did.
We like I know I've seen places where you get photos developed or whatever, but it was I don't remember it being photo.
Yeah, I mean, we could have been a little after the drive up ones. But.
Yeah. And then we have Jones, who is just a troublemaker.
But I mean, you got that talent, you have to be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how do you don't? I mean.
And then, of course, we have Hightower, played by the towering Bubba Smith, who was a florist.
Yeah, you got to have that complete opposite for the big man.
So Mahoney's backstory: always getting in trouble, always getting bailed out by Captain Reed because of who his father was. And he meets Jones while sitting in the police station. He's like, "Oh, what are you in for?" And then he's like, "Oh." Everybody's fucking ducking. Cut that out. And he really did his own sound effects.
Yep, still does.
Mm-hmm.
He's on America's Got Talent a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So Captain Reed decides, okay, you're going to police academy. He says he'll go if he can bring his trusted physician, Senior Larvell Jones. So, what was your opinion seeing all these guys prior to the police academy?
I mean, it's a ragtag group, but I mean, they explained it at the beginning. The mayor wants to loosen the rules on who could be a police officer, and I mean, nowadays, I would say we kind of need a little bit more of that, given their reputation at the moment. But it's if they loosened up, I'd take a shot at it. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'd love to drive up and down the highway all day.
They don't drive up and down the highway. They fucking sit on the side of the highway. Yeah. So we're at the police academy now. We meet the commandant, the leader, Eric Lassade, played by George Gaines, also known as he was the father in Punky Brewster, and that's probably where I first saw him. But very lovable, caring guy.
Yeah, he plays the aloof old man so well. And in the first one, you watched all of them, so you've got more of the gradient on it. But I mean, he declines pretty steadily through the movies, which is pretty fantastic because it's so consistent. That like he's a bumbling idiot in the first one, but it just goes downhill each time you see him in another movie, and I love his character.
But when
is great.
But when the time comes, he steps up.
Oh yeah, he's always there. He's all heart.
Like I'll refer to the other ones as we go if something comes up. But like the seventh one, Mission to Moscow, he gets in the wrong car and ends up with a Russian family for the week.
Yeah. Or in Mission to Miami when he's, thinks it's all just part of the whole big convention game. And he's
I wouldn't
the kidnappers
do that.
until the very end. Like, oh, wham!
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I'd ask for a helicopter. Giving them ideas and shit. And then, when he's getting ready to retire, I believe that was the fourth or fifth one. They say that he has to mandatory retire. But then ends up saving the day, and
that might have been the.
I think it was the fourth one.
I think that was the one with I don't remember the name of it, with the three crazy henchmen bad guys, and the mayor was overhead. At the end, they had the monster truck chase.
That was I have them all. Like I have all the So the first assignment was when the second one.
Yep, you first meet Bobcat.
Yep, that's when
you have
the
Eric
class
Lassard instead of Commandant Lassard.
Yep, and then the third one, back to training. That's when they go back to the police academy to help train now. Citizens on Patrol was when they have the citizens on patrol, the old lady, David Spade, House. And then you have Assignment Miami Beach, where they go down to Miami when Lassard is Officer of the Year. And City Under Siege, which is the one with the three bumbling idiots and the mayor as the bad guy. I'm pretty sure.
And then it's Mission to Moscow.
Yeah.
So it would have to be either the one I said or the Miami one, isn't it? I don't know. I don't remember.
I think Back to Training was the one where he's where they're competing the two schools, and then they announce that Lassard wins and that they're letting him stay on.
That's the third one.
Yeah. So, but back to the first one.
Yeah, because that has, because Mauser's in the second one and the third one, and then they go back to Harris for the fourth one, and that's a Mauser one.
Yeah. So, and then Harris is pretty much the bad guy, or the bad cop throughout with Proctor. Which Proctor always reminded me, Bishop always reminded me of Proctor, Karen's husband.
I get that.
Oh yeah. So, I don't know if I ever told him that, but God, I haven't seen him in years. So, so they're at police academy and they get their room assignments, and you have all these characters: Fackler, Mahoney, Hightower, Hooks, who's like a 5'2" woman, and
quiet mouth.
She talks like this until you piss her off. Then she's like, "Freeze, dirtbag," and then you have the two Blanks and Copeland, who
two little cronies for Harris.
Yeah, Harris is kind of assigned them to keep tabs on Mahoney and the rest of the gang. We meet fucking Sergeant Callahan. Thumbs up.
Everybody loves Callahan.
Yeah. And chaos, Mahoney's macking on a girl while in formation. And then she doesn't realize that it's another recruit.
Well, yeah, because, you're standing in line and someone comes up and, oh, whatever. I mean, granted, the questions he's asking, you should.
Yeah.
But it's the 80s.
Yeah, couldn't do that nowadays.
That kind of thing is okay.
So, first few weeks, Mahoney's constantly trying to get in trouble.
Trying to get thrown out any way he can. Can't quit. Because if he quits, he goes to jail.
And then I love the part when he goes into Lassad's office. And he's like, sir, throw me out. And he's like, you can quit. And he goes, really? He goes, who are you? Mahoney. Oh, no, you can't quit. But, and, you see Lassard with his fish. He loves his fish.
That poor fish.
So let's talk about their first weekend away from their first pass, where they're going out into the city, and Blanks and Copeland have to find out where the party is, so they go to Leslie, and he gives them the address, which turns out to be a key spot in this whole series, the Blue Oyster Bar. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Here's a joke that doesn't fly anymore.
Nah. But at the end of the night, and they're dancing. They each got a biker
cheek,
and the rest of the gang is all having a big bonfire. And
what happened? What happened? Just dancing, sir. It's just a lot of dancing.
So the shooting range, the pop-up targets inside the buildings. If that doesn't scream one person, I don't know what does. That's Tackleberry's fucking bread and butter.
But Barbara did so good.
Yeah. He swings around. Now, so that scene when he swings around with the
shotgun.
With the shotgun and everybody ducks.
Tackleberry's just standing there.
He doesn't duck because he knows it's not loaded. So, that shows how big of a gun nut he really is. And, he's got, when he's at the shooting range the first go around and he fires that fucking Magnum.
Hand cannon.
And Harris is like, where'd you get that? My mom gave it to me for Christmas. I'm just gonna hold on. Can I try? And he's like, yeah, sure. But I
mean, if you're gonna do that, he's gonna go. He went a little overboard with what they wanted, but it's the spirit of the thing to kind of get in there and find cover before you take your shot.
Yeah.
You can't really give too much shit.
So let's talk about when they're doing the reenactment of the burglaries. Harris is like, okay, what would you do in this situation? Excuse me, sir.
This is a stick up.
Yeah.
This is a stick up.
And then Tackleberry goes up. Freeze, dirtbag!
Don't move or I'll put a ball in your head off.
Harris is shitting himself, but so one of the ways that Copeland and Blanks try to get rid of Mahoney, or try to get rid of Barber, is they bring in the hooker. Right
now,
before.
Here's a scene that the first time I watched this movie, I did not comprehend.
Well,
the first time I watched this movie, was probably 5 or 6 or something like that.
So I mean, of course, funny. He runs to Mahoney, who's like, "Okay, well, we'll take care of it." So he brings her down, and they're going through the campus, and they run into Lassard, who's giving a tour to all these other police captains and commandants and all that. So they run into the auditorium, and he puts her in the podium, but then doesn't have time to escape, so he goes in the podium too. And Lassard's up there in the speech.
Oh, and this was a lovely day.
If we could just pause for a moment.
Maybe I'd like to go outside and possibly smoke a cigarette.
And when he stops, like he's leaving, he stops, he turns around, and Mahoney peeks out from behind the curtain and just kind of waves to him. Like, oh.
Rousing speech.
As kids, we didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, no
but
idea. But
nowadays, it's like, oh.
That's hilarious.
So I put horse. When they were out, Mahoney and Harris.
Yeah, Harris drags Mahoney out.
Yeah, and they were doing their ride-alongs, and they're sitting in traffic, and Harris is like, "I'll get to the bottom of this," and he commandeers a guy's motorcycle, rides down the road, hits a car, and goes flying head first into the ass of a horse.
Mm-hmm. You didn't tell anybody, did you?
So once again, somebody else has a problem, so they go to Mahoney. This time it's Hightower, who hasn't driven a car since he was 12.
Well, look at the size of the guy. Cars back then weren't exactly made for big people.
Yeah, so they steal, I believe it was Blanks' car, or Copeland's. And
rips the front seat out.
Well, we could take the front seats out. Next scene, Hightower's throwing the seats out. Okay, I didn't mean that literally, but... And, he's getting the hang of it. Then he proceeds to be chased by police. But he runs into the angry driver, gets out of his car and walks over all tough, looks in, goes... Yeah. But he gets the hang of it, and the next morning is driving lessons. So first we have, I believe Hightower was first.
Yeah.
And he conquers the course. He's whipping around, and then we get the Hooks, who couldn't be going possibly more than 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 during the rain spot or whatever. And towards the end of the course, she runs over, I believe it was Blanks' foot.
Yeah.
And he calls her, I don't know, should I say it?
Probably not, but it's a highly racist term. And Hightower did not take kindly to it.
And Harris knows that the minute that he said it, he was like, "Oh crap!"
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So Blanks calls Hook a name, pisses off Hightower, who then proceeds to flip over the police car with Blanks inside, and Harris throws him out.
Fires him, which is the wrong call. Nowadays, Harris would have got fired for firing him. And the police academy would have been sued. Out the yin yang.
But we'll play into that later.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're out doing their things, or their ride-alongs, a little incident of throwing something out the window by
Leads to a
Fackler.
riot.
Now, throughout the series, Fackler is very
clumsy motherfucker.
Doesn't hurt himself, but fucking hurts everybody else.
Everybody else.
And so this big riot breaks out, and Mahoney's leaving. Mahoney's quit, like giving up. But then when they call for the all police cadets, please report to the armory with your riot gear, he decides to and Tackleberry is like a kid in a candy store.
Oh yeah, buddy, that's what I want.
And they go down to where the riots are, and Harris is pointing out, okay, you go north, you go west, I'll go east, you go south. And then they run into a real cop who's like, what are you doing here? The riots are like right over there. Like,
mm-hmm.
So
and then they get chased around.
So you have
Lassard shows up and
I thought I'd come check on you, man. Can we get in? Yeah, sure.
How's the riots going?
Yeah. This is Commandant Lassard.
I'll
Please step away or I'll be forced to arrest you. It's like fucking 90 people surrounding this car. Fackler has already changed uniforms because he found a nice plaid jacket that he liked. Mm-hmm. He's put that on. Callahan, Hooks, and the Mahoney's girlfriend there. Couldn't remember her name. But they're running together, Jones and Mahoney, Tackleberry and Leslie. They're all running into trouble. Mm-hmm. And then you have Blanks and Copeland walking down the fence, taunting the rioters.
All the rioters just taunt, until there's no more fence.
And both their guns get taken by this one crazy dude who was actually he returned in the second or third one. No, the second one. He was in the police lineup when the guy is like, no, my wife said that he'll kill me if he sees me. And he's like, no, they won't see you. It's dark in here. And then Fackler walks in.
Lights on. Yep.
I'll kill you. But so he has both guns and ends up running into Harris, who he takes as a prisoner, up onto the rooftop of one of the buildings. And now everybody
down.
Yeah. He's shooting down the girls. Then Mahoney, Jones, and Lassard show up. And like when Lassard puts his hat out and he shoots it. But when Mahoney sees what's her name? Thompson, yes, Thompson. When he sees Thompson's in trouble, he's gonna try to save the day. So he runs around the building.
Climbs all the way up to the roof.
He could hit the fucking hat, but he couldn't hit Mahoney running.
80s
it's trope.
Movie.
80s trope, I know.
It's a movie.
But so Mahoney gets up onto the roof, and
Harris and the guy have already moved.
And eventually they run into each other. He takes Mahoney hostage as well. And that's when Hightower returns.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to watch him off them pigs.
Yep. Harris does not look happy with this situation.
No. Especially when he says, who should I do first? He goes, do that one.
Turns around and punches him through a wall.
Through the wall, down the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Freeze, dirtbag!
Yeah. But I think the best scene at the end there when Tackleberry comes around the corner and starts banging his head on the car. And
What's
Lassad's
wrong
like,
with him? There was gunplay and he missed it.
yeah, banging his head on the car. So, of course, they give Hightower back his position in the police academy and award him and Mahoney. And the highest honor given by a police department. But the fucking hook is still in the podium.
No, comment on the side, return the favor.
Oh, okay.
That was the sly side look.
Yeah, and then he looks away. So that was the first police academy. Who's your favorite character?
It's still Jones.
Jones. I was always a Tackleberry guy.
I like Tackleberry. He's funny and all, but Jones can make the noises.
Like, we can talk about the other films at this point, but like, if you notice, once he starts riding the motorcycle and he has the helmet, no matter what he's in, whether it's a cop car, he has the fucking helmet on. But so obviously, as we alluded to and discussed earlier, there were many sequels to this. Police Academy 2, their first assignment in 1985. Police Academy 3, back in training in 86.
They really fucking railed them out back in the day, man.
They did.
They don't do that shit no more.
And it's funny because as each one goes on, like, Mahoney's only in the first 4. 5, 6, and 7 are Tackleberry, Jones, Lassard, Harris, and Callahan.
Yeah, and then they have that replacement Mahoney guy. Let's say whatever his name is, the other Lassard there.
Yeah, Lassard's nephew down in Miami. And then when they're their first assignment, they have Lassard's brother, who was
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah. He was on that 70s show too. I can't remember his name, but so then in 1988 and 1989, they had the animated series. Do you remember that at all?
I remember getting home from school, getting off the bus to make sure that I sat down in time to watch that cartoon with my bowl of goddamn chocolate chip ice cream. I was it was kindergarten, preschool, but I remember. I very remember. And I remember the theme song, at least how it ended.
Hooray for the Police Academy!
Police Academy, the series, hooray!
And then they had a series in 97 and 98.
That I don't remember.
I do not remember that. There really wasn't much information on it. But
pilot and a couple episodes that get canceled on some known.
Do you remember the cartoon series Toys?
I don't know.
So Kenner made the line of toys.
Oh, you mean the actual toys for the cartoon? Yes. I had many of them.
Yes, I had all of them, except for the police station. But I remember playing out in the snow one time with them, and one of them got buried too deep in the snow, and I couldn't find it. I had to wait till spring to find it, and by that time it was fucked up.
That's how that happens.
But then they had the role-playing kits.
Yep.
They had the ID badge that had like the pictures of Zed, Jones, and Mahoney. The handcuffs, which were actual hands.
I remember all of this.
And,
I remember playing with this shit with you.
Yes. What else did they had? They had the megaphone.
Yeah.
They had the 2 plastic like squirt bottles. One was a happy face on a can, and one was a sad face. One was supposed to be tear. One was supposed to be happy gas. Then they had the figures. Like I remember Zed's figure, his pants would fall down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, the heart boxer shorts. Mahoney came with the dog. Hightower came on a scooter. Tackleberry had the motorcycle. Sweet Chuck was in a fire hydrant on the undercover series. Jones, you could put the microphone up to his mouth. They had the motorcycle, the cop car. Then they had the bad guys, the cat burglar, and shit like that. I went down a rabbit hole Saturday night.
Oh, I remember all of it.
So, pretty popular series for years, at least in the last 5 or 6 years. They're saying that there's going to be a new one.
Yeah, problem with that is a good chunk of them have died.
So I went through like a lot of the main characters from the first one, since that's the one we were covering. So Steve Gutenberg, still alive. Michael Winslow's still alive. George Gaines died in 2016. Bubba Smith died in 2011. Marion Ramsey died in 2021. David Graff died in 2001. Isn't that funny? The Hightower, Hooks, and Tackleberry all died 10 years from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Harris is still alive, and Leslie Esterbrook is still alive. So, but
I did not realize that she was Firefly in one of the movies.
she took over for
yeah.
It was
the name was familiar, and I never put two and two together until I was watching it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know that goddamn gaze of I'm a crazy bitch.
Yeah. Oh, one scene we didn't talk about is when Mahoney's trying to get kicked out and he's watching the girls in the shower.
Yeah.
And Harris comes up, takes the beer, and looks in, and the girls see him.
That's when they notice.
And the guy that pretends to have the Spanish accent.
Yep.
And he's sleeping around in the woman's dorm, and he ends up in Callahan's dorm. But do you think it would be better if they continued the story with the characters still alive, or would
yeah, I think that's. I mean, at this point, that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to recast Tackleberry.
No.
But I mean, I could see like now Harris winds up being commandant, Mahoney is captain.
Yeah.
He's got to train him or something like that, something along those lines. And then, Callahan is like, up there with him, and Jones, but it's, I mean, you can have a lot of the secondary guys from the other movies, I suppose. I mean, Bobcat's still around. I don't know if he'll do it, but he's still around.
I don't think he would. Based off of interviews that I've heard with him, he's trying to shed that character, like that. Talking like this.
Well, that's gonna, that can't be good for his vocal cords or anything anymore, So,
but I mean, who knows? I mean, if the money's right and the script's good, they might come. I mean, Harris is in his 70s, I believe. Callahan's in her 70s. But I think the last update was like in April of last year, and they said that they were still working on the script.
Well, yeah.
But considering this came out, the first one came out in 84, 40 years ago. It's never been rebooted.
Nope.
It's one of the few movie series that goes past 3 and keeps the original characters.
Yeah.
Sprinkles in some new ones along the way, but it
was more TV series, you know what I mean, than it was movie series in those aspects.
Yeah, but so what was your favorite scene in the original?
I would have to go with. I just like watching Harris get shit on. So I love the pranks that they pull on him. So, just the simple, the megaphone and then the horse. So
was this one the one with the body cavity search? Or was that the second or third one?
Body cavity search was the second one, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like you have the good guys, Mahoney and the crew. You have whoever the bad guy is for the movie. And then you have Harris that's kind of in between. He's a good guy, but he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's got his own motivations. He's trying to move up.
Yeah. And Lasad keeps fucking shining like a wizard. And do you think a movie like this could be remade from this script today? Like,
I mean, no, there would have to be a lot of changes because a lot of it is considered a no-no nowadays.
Yeah.
Such as just having a character standing outside the bathrooms, like as a official representative. They probably not want to have something like that in the movie.
Yeah.
Just because it definitely wouldn't fly in a day like today. So, and I mean, you can't have. I mean, granted, you can't really tell considering how most people feel that cops are still fairly racist. But I mean, I don't know if you could do that driving test scene.
No.
As a comedy, I think you'd have to do it as a serious. It would have to be a serious tone, not a comical.
But I mean, like with that scene in particular, like he doesn't call Hightower the name; he calls Hooks the name.
Yep.
But Hightower gets offended by it,
as he should, and he's standing up for Hooks.
Yeah, and he's the last person you would want to piss off.
Correct.
Because he's fucking 7 feet tall and could probably fucking punch a hole right through your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that scene it'd have to be reworded differently.
Yeah, it would have to use something a little bit more,
like call
something
her a bad
a little
driver.
bit more veiled.
And I don't think there's anybody that could replace Hightower or Bubba Smith as Hightower that I know of. Maybe that dude Omos in the WWE, but
that's where they'll do the swap and they'll use the Big Show instead.
He'd be funny.
They'll do a race swapping. It'll just be white.
So how about the length? We're at an hour and 39 minutes.
Fairly standard length. Right down in there.
They're all that length. They're all within an hour and 20 to an hour and 40.
Oh, I know.
That's why it was like, and plus it goes by so quickly. That's why next thing I know, I was on fucking number 4 and I was like, oh, well, I might as well keep going now.
They're all just so enjoyable.
Yeah. And they each have their own like unique things.
Yeah, they each have their own memorable parts and their own memorable characters.
Like the second one is the one with like the water race when they're on the water and all that, right?
No, the second one is their first assignment when they first meet Zed and they're trying to crack down on that gang.
Yes, and the gang. And, Mahoney gets partnered with the big slob and the dog. And Lasad's brother is, they all get suspended.
Yeah.
And then, you meet Zed and the gang. They attack Sweet Chuck's
antique store.
And like just those two, Zed and Sweet Chuck, they're fucking their own characters within themselves.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Chuck's shy and nervous, and Zed's like crazy and fucking talking like a lunatic. And then when Mahoney goes undercover, what's your name? Jughead. I'm from the Archies,
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he's got the wire and it's
No, it's a perfectly respectable American name.
Like when he goes to smoke in the second one and says like, "What are you doing? It causes cancer."
Lights his hand on fire.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good series. It gave you enough to kill a day if you wanted to watch all 7 movies. I'd love to watch the cartoon again. I wish it was out somewhere.
Yeah.
And that TV series, I think I looked it up once. I might have seen like the opening or something, but it wasn't memorable. I tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. Hence why we don't remember it.
I just want to look up to see if who was in it. So there was 10 episodes. Nope. 11 episodes. The pilot, Put Down the Noise, Ain't Nothing But a Hound. The sitcom series from the spin-off. Michael Winslow was the only actor from the Police Academy to have a recurring role on the show. Although several of the film's cast made appearances. So let's see. Nobody. Joe Flaherty from he was Donald the Heckler in Happy Gilmore. He was in it.
Yeah, jackass.
Anthony Longo from Family Matters, Laverne and Shirley, Monk, yeah. PJ Oishin, Toby Proctor. He's the nephew of Eugene Tackleberry in the movie. So you have Cadet Casey, similar to Casey Mahoney and Nick Lassad, like Mahoney, repeat offender who chooses jail instead of the academy. Rob Crawford as Sergeant Rusty Ledbetter, who is similar to Harrison Mauser. He wants to discredit Casey and his friends, get them thrown out. Toby Proctor as Cadet Dirk Tackleberry, nephew of Eugene, who is Dirk's idol. Cadet Dean Tackleberry, who is the nephew, who is Dean's idol. Tackleberry is also Dean's idol. Cadet Annie Metford.
Maybe I did watch this.
Michael Winslow was in 13 episodes, so there was 13 episodes. Leslie Esterbrook returned as District Attorney Debbie Callahan. Kenneth Mars from Police Academy 6, who was the mayor. Mauser returns as Sheriff Mauser. Commandant Lassad, Hightower. Dom DeLuise as the voice of Zeus. David, 21 episodes. What the fuck? David Graff as Eugene Tackleberry. Colleen Camp appears as Kathleen Kirkland Tackleberry, his wife, through our rival footage. Commissioner Hurst. And the guy that played Sweet Chuck showed up as another character. So overall, there was 26 episodes.
Yeah.
From September 22nd, 1997 to May 25th, 1998. I don't remember it. But then the cartoon had nobody from the original series returned to do their voices.
No. There were 65 episodes of that, though.
Oh, of the cartoon. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm looking at the criminals list like Kingpin, Weasel and Wooly, Numbskull, Mr. Sleaze, Claw, Phoenix, Amazona, Lockjaw, the Clown Gang, the Phantom. Maybe we can find a few episodes and do a watch along one time. Just relive our childhood. But yeah. And then the figures. They had Mahoney, Claw, Tackleberry, Jones, Hightower, Mr. Sleaze, Numbskull, Zed and the police skateboard, Captain Harris. I had that one. That's the one he had binoculars, and when you'd push him against his face, his eyes would pop out. House, Sweet Chuck, Zed, Crazy Cruiser, the Crash Cycle, the police station, Copper Connor. And there were 6 issues of a comic book. And that was on channel 56 here in Boston.
It's been everything.
WVLI. All right, so let's do the ratings.
Well, I give it a 4. I love these movies.
I gave it a 4.5, and as each sequel went on, it went down a half a star. Because by the time we got to Moscow.
See, I don't think so. I think my favorite is it's probably a tie between Citizens on Patrol and Miami. I really like the Miami one. I just think that the kidnapping thing with Lassard is gold. And Citizens on Patrol was just funny. They had Zed with his love interest and everything they had going on.
Like when he shows up for that meeting with all the like pristine ladies, and he's like, "I'm from the police academy." Talk about. No, I'd say the first one is my favorite, then Citizens on Patrol, and then probably 2 and 3. But when he goes to Miami and he packs the fish in the fucking bag.
That poor fish man.
He's been dropped out of windows. Fucking. But no, I give this one a 4. 4.5. What about IMDb?
Well, they went 6.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 56%. Letterboxd 3.1. You can't win them all. Next week we will be covering 40th anniversary of a movie that I'm kind of related to one of the stars. I know he doesn't like to talk about it, but yep, my brother, he is Malachi. We're doing The Children of the Corn, starring John Franklin, Linda Hamilton, and Courtney Gaines.
Do you think we should text him and see if he wants to join us?
Like, Billy, we're doing your movie. You want to join us?
And if we could get a picture from when he was a fucking kid and he looked like Malachi, and we'll just post that as our fucking episode picture. I'm going to text him tomorrow. But that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for joining us today.
Before we go, find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most places you listen to podcasts.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. Stay updated on future episodes and join the conversation. You can find us on Twitter/X @TheMovieBarPod and Instagram @TheMovieBarPodcast, Movie Bar Podcast, and on YouTube and TikTok @TheMovieBarPod and @TheMovieBarPodcast on Facebook. Tag us, share your favorite movie moments, and suggest films you'd like for us to cover next.
And hey, you listening to this, you got a film suggestion? Or you just want to say doodles? Drop us an email at themoviebar@outlook.com.
Because Justin checks that email account every day.
All the time, baby.
Until next time, keep the popcorn popping and the reels rolling, and we will catch you next week on the feature presentation presented by the Movie Bar.
Woo.
Hooray for the Police Academy!
No.
Come on! Stick 'em! Here they come! Yeah! Big bucks for justice! They stand up for the truth! They save us from the peril of a cowardly crew! They protect the rights of all citizens! When it's time to fight, they fight to win! They're tested, tried and true! They keep the peace! For you and me! Hooray, the Police Academy!
Hey, somebody forgot to dot the I.
I'll fix it.
Police Academy, the series.
Hooray!